Nerd Reactor, roll out.
What's up, Reactorites? John here, and it's time to check out Marvel Spider-Man by Insomniac Games. And yeah, this game is pretty much a lot of fans have been waiting for this, like the ultimate Spider-Man game where you really get to feel like you're swinging around New York City, Manhattan, in the open world. And the last time I truly felt excited about a Spider-Man game was Spider-Man 2. This was back in 2004 for the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube. And this one was done by Treyarch. It was like a first for me to experience just how cool Spider-Man can be. Because in the previous games, Spider-Man would be swinging, but he would always be above the skylines. And the way he swings, it looks like he's floating and he's just shooting webs. But in the Spider-Man 2 game back then, that really showed us how a swinging Spider-Man would work. And the city, oh my god, the city of Manhattan, you can go from up into the tallest building and dive all the way down and land to like the street level. And so that brings us back here to now to 2018 with Marvel Spider-Man. And I can tell you, this game does all of that, brings back the magic and more, especially with current gen graphics, especially for the PlayStation 4. So far as the story, Peter Parker has been Spider-Man for quite a while, and he's in his early 20s. He has to deal with bad guys, a new threat, while also dealing with his own personal life issues. And this new threat is Mr. Negative, aka Martin Lee. Problem is, he also runs a shelter called Feast. This shelter also happens to have Aunt May, Peter Parker's aunt, working there. So you have this guy with a dual personality who's the bad guy, but he's working at the shelter. And Aunt May is in this, so of course there's going to be some problems. And Peter Parker is going to have to find ways to navigate his Spider-Man life and his regular life. And in this one, you get to play as both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. So Spider-Man, you're swinging around. And as Peter Parker, you get to do what Peter Parker does, visit Aunt May, help out at the shelter, and go to work on his scientific projects. And so this is really cool because it kind of brings like a balance to who Spider-Man and who Peter Parker is. And for the combat, with Insomniac Games behind this, they've done Sunset Overdrive, so it's very intuitive. The controls are simple. You have square to attack, you have triangle to do your web attacks, you have X to jump, circle dodges. And if you play the the Batman Arkham games, or even the Assassin's Creed game where the bad guys attack, like you'll get some kind of signal that they're attacking. So in this game you have the spider sense, so whenever the spider sense comes off, that's when you know to dodge or to just get away. With the web attack, it really helps you reach the enemy faster. And of course the game, you have options to upgrade your abilities. You get certain moves where you can jump higher from the ground, or you can unlock special abilities from unlocking suits. And some of these suits, their powers are really cool. And I want to talk about my favorite suit, which is the Spider-Punk outfit. And the special power for that one is the Rock Out one, where you pretty much send out like an audio wave, and it just pretty much blasts enemies away. So if you use that with your one of the other moves, your gadgets, the web gadget, web one guy, and everyone else gets webbed up, do the Rock Out move, it's going to send everyone flying, and whoever gets stuck on the wall, they're instantly out. And so that's a really cool move to help you get out of tight situations, so that's a tip right there. And then there's another cool suit, which is the Iron Spider suit, which is based on the Avengers Infinity War movie. Looks just like it. It's very shiny, very cool. And when you activate the power for that one, his spider arms come out, and it will help you deliver street justice. And as for other suits, they include the Noir suit. You also have the Spider 299 suit, the Scarlet Spider, and other surprises I won't even mention here. I do want to say that the Spider-Man Homecoming suit, that one looks just like the movie version, and it's really cool. And if you want, you can also go back to your classic Spider-Man suit, which is featured at the very beginning, the prologue of the game. For the new suit that's introduced in Marvel Spider-Man, I actually like it. The white spider symbol, it's just very angular, and the legs are stretched out more. It just looks and feels, more menacing than the classic suit. It feels sleek. But you have an option to choose whatever outfits you want. So if you're not a fan of the new outfit, you can go to the classic one or do the movie versions or any of the other crazier outfits that's available. As for me, my favorite one is the Spider-Punk outfit, and that's what I use for most of my playthrough. As for the swinging, I want to talk about the swinging. The swinging is probably one of the best parts of the game. So yeah, you hold R2 to swing, and then when you let go, you can go down and then hold it again to swing again, just to keep with the momentum. But the way I like to do it, just to kind of go with the speed and just to simplify things, I like to hold R2 at all times and then just press X to jump, and he'll automatically swing again, and then press X to jump again. To swing even faster, you can dive by clicking on the left thumbstick, and he'll dive, and once you reach close to the ground, hold R2 again to swing back up. And in this game, you can unlock the ability to do aerial tricks, and to do that you hold triangle and circle, and you move the directional pad, and he'll do different aerial maneuvers, and that one makes me feel like Tony Hawk. One of the big surprises for me for this game is not only can you get to play as Peter Parker and Spider-Man, but you also get to play as a regular person, a character where, I'm not going to say who it is, but you really feel what it's like to be in this Spider-Man universe. Being a normal person, you really get to see what it's like dealing with criminals and seeing Spider-Man around and helping save you. And it's like a really cool feeling, like this is what it's like as a regular person if they're to be saved by Spider-Man. And there are also other scenarios where, what does it feel like to tackle a supervillain and what that feels like. And it kind of reminds me of, let's say, games like Outlast or PT, Silent Hill's PT, where you're just a regular person and you're dealing with these extraordinary scenarios, and all you can do is try to sneak around, run away, and that really shows you just how important Spider-Man is to the city of Manhattan and how he can help out. And another thing I want to talk about is Manhattan. The island of Manhattan is very lively. This current gen with the PS4, you really get a feeling of this living city, or once you're bored of just swinging around, you can go to the street level, you can interact with people. Let's say square is usually to attack, but when there are no enemies around, you press square and he'll, point at people and, interact with them, like thumbs up and whatnot. So certain characters, NPC characters, will come up to you, and you can press the triangle button to interact with them. For example, there was a person asking for a photo. I pressed triangle, and Spider-Man puts his arm around the person takes a selfie. So it's just the little things like that just really makes it cool to bring Spider-Man into this world. This game has a lot of different Easter eggs. So if you're a Marvel fan, if you watch the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you'll be treated certain things that people will get a kick out of. That's kind of like a tradition with those movies, and now you kind of get that here. And certain Easter eggs include buildings. For example, you get to see the Avengers Tower is right there. It's so cool. You get to climb on that. And Peter Parker will make references to different Marvel characters. You're probably wondering, where are they? But this is a Spider-Man game. Strictly, he's the hero. The story for Marvel Spider-Man, it's pretty faithful to the comics in capturing Peter Parker and his struggle to becoming a superhero and dealing with everyday issues that a lot of people can relate to, like having to pay rent and working, or taking care of someone you care about, your loved ones. But then you also have criminals out there wreaking havoc to Manhattan, and bosses, supervillains, doing the same thing too. And so it's a juggling act, and that's what I really appreciate about this game, where you can play as both Peter Parker and Spider-Man. In the end, Insomniac Games, I think they just knocked it out of the park with just giving us this ultimate Spider-Man experience, where you really get to feel like him as he swings around Manhattan, fighting crime, just doing really cool moves, dodging, becoming Peter Parker and dealing with his own personal issues. So this game has it all, and there are surprises I can't even talk about here. But once you play it, you'll be like, "Ooh, wow, this is really cool," and it just gets crazier and crazier, and yeah, it's kind of a love letter, to Spider-Man. I definitely recommend playing this game if you're a huge fan of Spider-Man, or if you just love the superhero genre, or if you like swinging around New York City, or you're just a fan of New York and you just want to sightsee without traveling to New York City. So yeah, Marvel's Spider-Man. Check it out. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. With that said, I'm John, and I'll see you guys next time.